Greetings, race fans, and welcome to Jeddah Grand Prix, right here in the beautiful and historic city of Saudi Arabia. This is Salim Haddad, your motorsports expert and enthusiastic commentator, and I can barely contain my excitement for what promises to be an incredible race. Joining me from the commentary box is Mr. Should we say your name?
Yes, RDR Quinn. I'm happy to be back in the commentary box with you. It's been a little while since we've been here. Obviously, a big thanks to Omi for covering in your absence for a few races this season, but it's good to be back in here with my usual commentary partner.
Thank you, man. It's good to be back. The Saudi Grand Prix promises to be a very challenging one, a very exciting one, because of the street circuit factor.
Yeah, with it being a street circuit, it's going to be, the walls are so tight, and through the windy section of Sector 1, it's going to be very tricky to keep the car on the track and not invalidate.
Well, if you think about it, it's not the track that is just unique, it's the city itself. Jeddah is a vibrant and dynamic metropolis steeped in history and culture, and bursting with energy and excitement.
Yeah, it definitely is. And what else is bursting with energy and excitement is this race here tonight. As we've got 17 here tonight, and first person to set a lap here will be QRT Type. As he just goes through the long left-hander, long banked, and see what he can do in terms of a banker time here.
Well, the thing about these corners, if you fail, if you make a mistake from the first corner, you're gonna ruin your whole racing line.
Oh yeah, definitely. You've got to be pinpoint accurate with your turn into your braking points, or else you're just going to be losing speed, because as it is, it's been said it's the fastest street circuit on the calendar. You can see why. I think it's upwards of 70% of this circuit is full throttle in these F1 cars.
And there he goes, QRT Tribe with the DRS enabled, across the finish line, managing to get a 128.3. So this is going to be the target time for the others.
They have Pyro, who's just gone 800ths of a second slower, and then Danny puts in time 1.5 attempts faster than Tybe, so provisional pole for Danny.
Good evening to our viewers from all over the world. Please let us know in the chats where are you watching from.
Yeah, so the two Alpha Tauris aren't separated by much, as TerraRacer just splits them. They're only separated by about 4.5 tenths. As Aiden goes fastest overall, nearly 2 tenths faster than Danny's time.
So 9 drivers so far were able to set their lap times. The range is from 127.9 to 128 point, roughly 9, so 1 second separating the guy in first to the guy in ninth.
Yeah, we have Lifeboat crossing the line, 300ths behind Danny, puts himself on the second row provisionally.
And we can see a lot of returning names. Wooly, Slow Salt.
Yeah, sorry, you go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm done.
So we have El Sheikh. He only puts himself in P2 at the moment. We have Chris just rounding the final corner as well. He's going to be the next person to set a lap, well, set a time here. Will be provisional pole, nearly 4 tenths faster than Aiden.
There's a flying lap from the Aston Martin, and one thing for sure, this guy is replicating Alonso's success lately with the Aston Martin in Formula 1.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's been putting some really good results in. And just looking at the standings as I pulled them up, the standings, it is, I believe, yeah, El Sheikh is in first place. He's currently 11 points ahead of Payne, and Payne is not here tonight, so El Sheikh, if he can get a really good result, he can basically secure the title in this race here as Saudi Arabia.
Could be a title decider today. But unfortunately for that title decider, there won't be any champagne.
Yeah, unless El Sheikh has some champagne of his own, then definitely won't be any champagne here.
There will be only pain in champagne. Pun intended. Anyway, ladies and gents, 13 drivers so far were able to set their lap times. Chris, Aiden, the leading two drivers, and 4 drivers have yet to set any lap times.
Yes, ET8 Chris is invalidated back to the pits. Pepine, well, he's in the pits. Mendez, not sure what's happened. No, he's run out of fuel. Yeah, he's on his in lap now, I believe. I think he's run out of fuel, or maybe he's just going slow. I'm not 100% sure.
Could be a bug. Well, anyway, 10 minutes to go. And it's JR Chris sitting on provisional pole position with a 127.5. 4/10 of the second faster than Aiden, second place.
Yeah, they've got a really big. They've got a really big mountain to climb here to try and catch up to Chris. That was a very, very solid lap from him. But if there's anyone that can do it, well, there's 2 people. I think Aiden and El Sheikh. Their qualifying this season has been nothing short of amazing from these 2. So, well, El Sheikh is the championship leader for a reason. So. We'll have to see what sort of time he can put in this session.
As El Sheikh, oh, did he cross the white line on the pit exit? I'm not sure. As he goes
At least it isn't. Yeah, at least
no
it isn't bugged. At least it isn't bugged like it was before. Even if you touched the line, it would give you a penalty in the race and in qualifying. Thankfully, they did fix that.
Well, this race has seen some of the most heated races in the last 2 years. We can recall the one that happened between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton when they collided. Max was letting Lewis through, and Lewis didn't get the message, so boom.
Yeah, that was not a good day for Formula One, and then the following race was even more controversial.
Well, the rest is history. Whether a good history, a happy history, or a sad history, it's all subjective to you, dear viewers.
Yeah, so just on board with El Sheikh as he's starting his first flyer, well, his second flyer, as we're just past halfway in this session. Just want to see how El Sheikh can do here. As that's actually Danny who's gone faster than his Aston Martin teammate. Nearly a tenth faster.
2 Aston Martin drivers in first and second. I bet Lawrence Stroll would be happy to see that.
Ooh, that was bad from El Sheikh. Just going round the last few corners in Sector 2, he just tapped the wall on the inside as going towards the spoon corner. Well, the the banked hairpin. He just tapped the inside wall, and Yeah, put him all out of sorts, and he invalidated his lap, and that's actually Danny who's crashed out at that same corner that El Sheikh tapped the inside wall. So let's hope for Danny at least that the 27.4 is going to be good enough to keep him relatively close to the top.
Well, he's gonna pray that no other driver is gonna be able to get anything faster than that. And he would be praying for rain, but unfortunately, it's a country that misses the rain.
Yeah, it's very, very rare that rain happens in Saudi Arabia, if any rain happens there. But Chris beats out his teammate, puts another nearly tenth and a half between himself and his teammate. And just as we were talking, Lifebout had put himself in P3. So moves Aiden and El Sheikh out of the top. Well, it moves El Sheikh out of the top 4 and Aiden out of the top 3.
Well, we were talking about Danny having a pole position, but this aged like milk. And now he finds himself in second place, 1/10 away from his teammate who has the provisional pole position.
So yeah, just looking at Alex's run here, well, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a last. Actually, it's going to be Slow Salt who's going to cross the line before he does. So let's stick on board with Slow Salt and see what time he can put on the board. Currently with a 1:28.6. It's an improvement, but only to 28.2. It does move him up into the top 10. And that is... not sure who just moved. I think that was Mendes with a 28.0. Alex Run's coming into the pits, and then we have Chris who's coming around. He's going to be going into the pits as well. And Pyro as well. I think he's just going to be starting his lap. So do you want to take us through Pyro's lap?
Sure. And off we go. Pyro getting ready to head into the main straight now with the DRS enabled. Heading into turn 1 on the 150-meter board. Goes down to third gear. Very careful on the throttle on the exit. This didn't seem to be a very fast exit from him.
No, well, you know, well, let's say, well, it's supposed to be slow and fast out. I think he's doing fast in, slow out. Yeah, and that's invalidated from Pyro. So 11th at the moment. He should really try and just get round to the pits as quick as he can.
Commentator's curse is a thing.
Yeah, it is. I do have a Haas of Terror Racer. I think he's on his in lap, and so is Mendes. Pyro should definitely be on his in lap as well. So we're going to have a little... we might have some traffic on some people on their fast laps and in laps. Do have SJM who's currently out on his out lap, so he's going to be the first person to set a flyer here. We have a few more coming out of pits. I believe that is ET8 Chris who's just coming out. Yep, it is. He's going to be on his out lap as well. So how do you feel? How do you feel about this? People going a little bit out of sync with everyone else. Because SJM's going to be on his flyer whilst others are going to be on their out laps. So it's definitely going to encounter some traffic on his fast lap.
Well, of course, he's going to encounter a lot of cars on his out lap, but if they have good driving etiquette, and I suppose they should have good driving etiquette for driving at a prestigious league like PSGL, so this shouldn't really be a problem, and they should move out of the way to keep his lap clean. And
yes,
do you think SJM is sandbagging, or do you think that's his performance?
I think going by past races that I've seen of SJM, his quality, his performance hasn't been good as I'm surprised that didn't take a massive chunk out of his front wing because his end plate is still completely intact. But he definitely would have had some wing damage. Definitely would have had some wing damage with that collision.
Well, the commentator's curse strikes once again.
Yeah, we've got Wooly just starting his lap as well. Not 100% sure on who else is on any sort of lap.
Ladies and gents, let us know in the chats who are you supporting, where are you watching from. We will read that for you. It's all the usual. Oh, is that a McLaren in the wall? The McLaren of Chris is in the wall.
Ooh. Bad news for him. He's down in P16. Unless Pepine doesn't put a lap in, he's going to be starting last.
That's turn 9.
Oh, Pyro had a bit of a collision. He's had 2 collisions with the wall now, but he's still kept it valid. There were 2 quite big collisions going through exactly the same place where Chris, his teammate, crashed out. So we know how bad the McLarens are in real life. Maybe it's translating into the game.
So we are now in the dying seconds of the qualifying session, and it's Chris sitting on a provisional pole position at 127.3. Is anyone going to be able to ruin his day and secure that pole position or the starting from the first place during the race? Oh, who was that? Wooly? I think Wooly. Wooly jumps to P4.
Wooly, yeah. Very, very solid lap there from Wooly, putting a 27.8. And now Zell Shaker just crossed the line. He's put himself P2. Lifeboat and Mendez have retired. Lifeboat actually crashed before he got to the line.
And still managed to finish in P5, moving Wooly to P6. Time is over. Chris has ruined his lap. Is anyone, well, Wooly? No. Seems nobody.
Slow Salt is on a lap. He's just going around to the final corner. I believe Michalitzi and Tower Racer are both on laps as well. Stick on board with Tower Racer. Goes up to P10. Slow Salt, what can he do?
Oh,
P9. Michalitzi is in the pits. And Pepine is actually going to be the last person on a flyer.
He was very careful on the throttle. Tricky corner. He cannot go flat out. 8th gear. Oh, very close to the wall. I think he nudged it. And he moves up to P7. Pepine, well done. At 127.8.
Yeah, so about 1.5 seconds separating the whole field, which is not bad. And a championship leader, he's got, well, I'd say one hand on the driver's title here, qualifying P2, but we all know that qualifying doesn't mean anything and it's all down to the race.
Well, is he going to have a finger on that trophy, or is any driver going to have a finger pointed at him? Stick with us until the race and you will find out yourself, ladies and gents. So, ladies and gents, it's going to be Chris starting from pole position, the Dutch driver, scoring at 127.3. Second is Il Sheikh, two Dutchies in the top 3. We've got Aiden in top 3. Outside the top 3, we've got Danny, Lifeboat, Wooly, Pepine, Evil, and Mendez, followed by Slow Salt. Outside of the top 10, could you please carry on?
Yeah, so we have Alex Run in 11th, then Tower Racer, and QRT Type, It's Pyro, SJM, Michalitzi, and the only person not to set a time is the Bulgarian Chris. You like mud flag knowledge there?
Yeah, thank God to geography, or FIFA. FIFA is taught us more
FIFA.
geography than school.
Yeah. Without FIFA, I'd never know what the Georgian flag looks like.
Kvaratskhelia, or whatever was his family name.
Yeah. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. So yeah, of course, what a surprise, there's no rain. I mean, we never know, there might be some rain. You know what the game's like with,
Random weather.
yeah. I've been in a race at Abu Dhabi when it's been full wet.
Oof.
Of
Maybe
course, no one was prepared for that because no one ever expects it to rain in Abu Dhabi.
maybe it was opposite day there.
Maybe, maybe. It might have been April Fool's Day when I did that, and Codemasters just was like, you know what, we'll just flip the weather.
Yeah, we'll just slip a bucket of water. Ladies and gents.
Just get the artificial rain out. Just get sprinklers on the track as we have 5 red lights.
And there we go, and it's an excellent start from the Alfa Romeo of Ilshak as he moves up to P1. And it's gonna be Chris. Chris goes off track.
That was Verstappen-esque defensive move there from Chris, and I don't think it would have said an illegal move, but that is Slow Salt who's round, and Wooly. Both of them at a similar point on the track. Maybe there was contact between the two, but it looks like both of them don't have any damage, and that's Terror Racer really losing positions and slowing everyone down. QRT Tiber's got past him, and Chris is right on his gearbox. But that's SJM sending it down the inside. Terror Racer gets overtaken by 2 cars there, and SJM gets past Chris in the meantime.
Well, Quinn, as you said before the race, it's going to be only one driver with the mediums, while all the others are going to be on hards, and this is the case tonight. So that was a very good guess. It's Mikulitsi on the medium tires, while all of the other drivers are on the hards.
It can be strategy. It can be really risky going for that strategy call, because when you're going to be pitting earlier, so yeah, you're going to have that advantage of being on a faster tire than everyone else. But once everyone else pits onto the mediums, it's going to be really difficult to stay ahead.
Pepine with ERS trying to go around the outside line of the Mercedes. He goes through. No. Lifebout is still there. Lifebout takes the position back. Good traction from him.
We're seeing some of that Mercedes Brazil engine coming through. Completely powering past in the traction zone. Very, very good exit there from Lifebout to get a position back. And we've already got some pitters onto the medium tyres. Terror Racer, Slow Salt, and Pyro. They're both coming out side by side almost. Slow Salt had a very bad exit out of the pit lane, but you gotta think from here, all of these people who have just pitted for mediums, they're gonna have to either go on another set of mediums or potentially a set of softs to the end.
Well, Pyro and Slow Salt were racing each other so hard as if they were fighting for something worth it, but they are in the last and the place before the last place. So I don't know if it's worth it, as Pyro goes into the inside line of turn, seems to be turn 13 to me, and he takes the 16th place.
Yeah, I believe it is turn 13. But just looking at the front, we've got a massive DRS train all the way back to Mendes. Chris puts in the fastest lap so far to end lap 3. DRS is enabled, of course. I believe that may be changing for the next game, as in real life the DRS is enabled at the end of lap 2.
Yeah, that's a problem in the game, I believe. Well, yeah. The Aston Martin is now leading. We've got an Alonso train once again.
Ooh. That's Lifeboat getting a 3-second time penalty. It's not good to get one this early. They're just on the third lap, well, the fourth lap of this race out of 25. That was quite deep there from Chris, going through the high-speed chicane, but the gap is still 9 tenths.
And now Ulstrike has enabled the DRS, and he's going through. Well, on street circuits, you're usually prone to a lot of crashes, a lot of time penalties, and a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, definitely, with the walls being so tight and, well, the width of the track not really being too wide, you're going to be constantly, you're going to have 100% concentration on what you're doing. And I'm not sure what happened to Slow Salt. Maybe has he put in for another new set of mediums? As he was right up there with Pyro, and now he's dropped behind Terror Racer, and that is Mendez. And that's a safety car.
Well, that was too quick. 3 laps, a safety car. Commentator's curse proves to be true once again.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure what caused it. Looked like it was coming out of turn 2 for Mendez, so it's unfortunate for him, as that's Pyro pitting back onto the hards. So already 2 pit stops in the first 4 laps for Pyro, and I'm actually okay with this decision because his hards are going to be fresher than everyone else's, so he can go a little bit longer than everyone else.
Well, would be smart to go on a set of hards now if you have had the mediums before, and try to go for at least 21 laps, let's say. 21 laps in total on the hards. 20 or 19 pushing laps, like a regular laps, because these laps are not really considered. They're not wearing tires.
Yeah, I think Michalizzi and Terror Racer, well, Michalizzi can definitely go into the pit and get a hard one because they're going to be completely fresh. Just Terror Racer started on the hards, and they would have been 2 or 3 laps old already, and yeah, Michalizzi comes in and he's going to, as well as Type and Chris and Wooly. They're putting on the mediums. Maybe they're going to be going for a 2-stop here. That's potentially what they're doing.
There is no way they would be able to carry on till the end. Well, speaking of ends, I don't know how does this have to do with ends, but there's Mir Grandis in the chats asking how to join. It's very simple. Go to Twitter, search for Premier Sim Gaming League, PSGL. You're going to find a link to the Discord. Join through there, and the instructions are very clear.
Yeah, the next season for F1 won't be until the next game. Well, at least a month or 2 after the game release, which for the standard edition will be the 16th of June, and if you get a Champions edition, it will be the 13th of June.
Which means we're going to get a vacation. Some time off. Well, ladies and gents, 5 laps. We have seen only, let's say, 2.5 laps of racing. All the other laps have been behind the safety car. And I was talking about street circuits, how they are prone, how drivers are prone to crashing, to making mistakes, to penalties. And my theory has proven itself.
Yeah, definitely has. As we're still waiting for a few drivers to catch up to the back of the field, being Terror Racer, Pyro, and Slow Salt. So out of everyone, obviously we have the pitters under the safety car, being Michalizzi, Chris, Wooly, Ty. Do you think Michelizi is actually in a very favourable position here?
Yeah, he has got fresh hards. He might be able to carry on till the end, and he's in 10th place. So if he manages his tires properly, I believe he can definitely guarantee the points.
Yeah, I'd say he's in a really good position. So yeah, we've got, well, I think the safety car's going to be out there for another lap, and that is Pyro once again pitting. I think he's done 3 stops already this race.
You know what he reminds me of? Of a picky shopper. Like you buy something from a store, you don't like it, you want to return it. And then you don't like the thing you returned, you want to return it again. And then you don't like the thing that you just returned, so you want to return it once again. So this is why you always have to keep your receipt if you want to return things to the store.
Life lessons with Salim. So yeah, I think we're going to be having at least, well, unless Pyro and Slowstart can catch the back of the pack, we might be having another lap under safety car here, which is favouring everyone else who's not pitted yet. Saving life on their tyres, extending their stint is going to be favouring everyone else ahead of Michelizi, which is not good for him.
Well, one single corner is going to separate us from racing, as the safety car will be in this lap. And as soon as Chris crosses the starting line, the flags are going to go green, the cars are going to go vroom, and we are going to resume racing. How is it going to be?
Oh no, it's not coming in, it's staying out for one more lap.
I think, well, it's the safety car for real.
Yeah, Pyro wasn't on the back of the pack just yet. I think he's just about getting to the back now, so we'll be restarting at the end of this lap.
Maybe the safety car driver is dyslexic. I don't know about that. Another lap behind the safety car. Well, I hope you guys are not bored. Look in the chats. We've got Louisi Fan 03 saying, "Hi guys, come on Chris." It's nice to have the support in the chats.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's always nice to have some friends in the chat supporting you. And yeah, Chris is going to be, he's in a good position at the moment, of course, leading the race. We've got, technically, well actually no, it's not an Aston Martin. I was going to say it's an Aston Martin 123, but it is a Mercedes safety car. So yeah, as it stands, I believe El Sheikh will have enough points to secure the championship here. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Chris also takes this restart, and if El Sheikh can be concentrating enough to catch when Chris goes.
Now Chris is leading the queue while the safety car is driving. Is jolly riding back to the pits.
I have to see where he goes. I think he's going to go now, and he didn't really catch El Sheikh sleeping there, as El Sheikh has got a brilliant run. He's just weaving to get more temperature into his tyres, and that's allowed Danny to get close. Lifeboat dives down the inside of Aiden, but Aiden gets a little bit of a switchback going and he keeps the position, but Lifeboat has a rocket exit, but it's not enough to get past Aiden.
Well, that was wonderfully taken by Chris as he keeps his first place, but he needs to work out a good strategy because he has got 7 drivers behind him with similar strategy, I believe. He needs to be different, he needs to be quick.
Yeah, Michelizi's already got past SJM, so he's putting those fresher tyres to good use as he nearly loses the rear end there a little bit, and that allows SJM to get onto the back of him. So not a good few corners from Michelizi as he goes wide through the chicane, and SJM takes this opportunity to get closer side by side, but it's not enough. Not enough to get the overtake done just yet.
And Chris is benefiting from this. Chris, the McLaren driver, we've got 2 Chris's, one with K, one with a CH. And Chris, with the ERS enabled, is he, well, 1 hair separating him from round the outside line.
No, Chris.
That was so funny to watch. Caught in 4K. I'm sure he's going to be penalized for that by the stewards. Right into the back of Terror Racer.
That's Wooly with a 3-second time penalty, skipping over the turn 1 curb. That is Tybe as well as Terror Racer.
Spinala.
Spun round, yeah, at the exit of turn 2, and that's Tybe who's going to be some ways away from the back of Terror Racer.
Well, ladies and gents, we are now on the 9th lap of the race. It's Chris still leading. 6 tenths behind, we've got Il Sheikh, Danny in P3. We've got 2 Aston Martins in the top 3. That's a very good result to their Constructors' Championship points.
Yes, very, very good. But we've only got 1 Red Bull here tonight, and the 2 Red Bulls have been very consistent performers this season. There's us Pyro round and another safety car.
Wow. There goes nothing. Pyro spun on turn 9? Yeah. No.
Oh, no.
7.
It's the other side of the track.
17.
Yeah, I think it's 17. And now I think we're getting to round about the territory where
Chris?
maybe the mediums can go to the end and Chris decides to pit. El Sheikh, Danny. Oh, Danny, he's going to get held up. Lifeboat has a collision with Aiden. But yeah, both AlphaTauris are staying out. Chris is DNF'd. I think he's retired in the pit lane. But yeah, Danny, I think he got held up a little bit. He did, because both Lifeboat and Aiden are ahead of him now. So Aiden is in a net P3, Lifeboat P4, and Danny is down in P5, a net P5.
Well, provisionally, Wooly in first place. 5 laps on the mediums. Well, it's going to be very impossible for him.
It's going to be it's going to be a very, very big stretch for him to get these mediums to the end. If he's got a fresh set of mediums, he could definitely pit and get those on. Same with SJM. Michelizi as well. This strategy has not really worked out for him. He would have been banking on a safety car not coming out. And well, only a few laps after the previous one, it's out again.
You know, this reminds me of a funny story. The Michelizi. Like, he had it in his bag, and now it's against him. I've known another story, but the other way around. Well, a friend of mine knows someone who hit a guy while driving his car and killed him. So he was held up by the police, and they wanted him to pay for this. And then suddenly they figured out that the guy he killed, he ran over, was a wanted man. So they gave him a bonus and they let him out. just like the VAR in football.
Safety car should be coming in at the end of this next lap. We've got only two people who aren't on, well, three people who aren't on the fresh, being both AlphaTauris in Wooly and SJM and Michalizzi. So Chris, he's got to overtake three more cars to get back into, well, the race lead. And that can really play into El Sheikh's hands. You can take advantage of the traffic ahead of Chris and get a move done on Chris while he's trying to overtake the people ahead.
Unless something changes their mind and they go to pit. We've got Luisi Fan 03 saying, "Oh man, play properly." Well, even in the cleanest of races, you're gonna see incidents. It's a street circuit after all. It's tight. No, not too much spaces. There are walls everywhere. So if you miss one braking point, boom, you're into the wall. So hope this answers your question. So we are now on lap 11. Three drivers decided not to pit with the safety car: Wooly, SJM, and Michalizzi.
Yeah, it was quite interesting that those three decided not to pit unless they think there's going to be another safety car, which I wouldn't really put it past it, with it being, well, Jeddah.
So the safety car will be going... Well, it's 2 laps now, and it was 3 laps earlier. That's a very moody safety car. Wooly is going to be going for the restart now. As soon as he crosses the starting line, we're going to be resuming racing.
Yeah, and Wooly gets underway now, and Chris is getting really close to the back of Michalizzi, going for a move down the inside of turn 1. It becomes the outside of turn 2. Michalizzi has a little bit of a dive, but Chris gets through. El Sheikh is trying to keep with Chris as much as he can, but it's going to be stuck behind Michalizzi. Ooh, a little bit of contact between the two. And El Sheikh is really getting held up by Michalizzi here.
Well, he switched teams now, and he's helping Chris. Talking about Michalizzi as El Sheikh goes around the outside. Same thing for the other Aston Martin driver on the outside line. That two tires were so close to each other. And he goes through. Danny goes through.
That was a great move. Great move there from Danny, and Chris, well, he's just going to be hoping that he can get past Wooly, but El Sheikh has a monster exit out of the chicane, and well, he's up into P3, and that is Taib, who's out of the session, crashing out at turn 17. Doesn't look like there will be another safety car, so we're still racing here.
Danny.
Wooly's still in the lead.
Take a look at Danny with the onboard now. He's going to be very late on the brakes, still side by side with the AlphaTauri of SJM. Danny goes through, and he's now in 4th place.
Yeah, and that might have given an opportunity for Aiden to get onto the back of SJM. He's got the slipstream from Danny, and he's round the outside, which becomes the inside. Chris gets the move done for the race lead, and Aiden gets past SJM.
Whoa, Danny kisses the wall, misses an apex, and I hope that he hasn't broken anything.
Doesn't look like visually he has broken anything on his front wing.
Might be
So
broken-hearted
that's
only.
good. But that'll be L-Shake going down the inside of Wooly through the banked corner, and he gets the move done. Now P1 and P2 for Chris and L-Shake, but all this traffic has benefited Chris. He got past him earlier, able to create a gap, and now it's 1.2 seconds.
On board now with Danny, who was using ERS. He's not using ERS anymore. Trying to get close to Wooly, 2/10 of a second separating them. Heading into the DRS zone. He's already using his ERS. This is going to give him a big push.
He's going to get really close to the back. It doesn't look like... Oh, late dive there from Danny. Wooly does momentarily have a better exit, but Danny using the ERS keeps the position. A very opportunistic dive turns into a very good overtake.
That was world class from Danny. So the Aston Martin are back in top 3.
Yeah, and L-Shake has actually closed down that gap 3 tenths since we last saw, so he's within the 1 second mark, and Chris is kind of hoping that Danny can get onto the back of L-Shake and just put a little bit more pressure on him.
But don't forget something, that Chris has 41% ERS as L-Shake has 19%. So
and
he needs to...
Evil's round, and that's another safety car.
Oh no.
So you have to think that Wooly, Michelizzi and SJM will all pit under this safety car now. I really don't think SJM and Michelizzi will get to the end, and Wooly definitely won't, so they'll all have to pit for a new set of mediums.
We are now on the lap 14. A third safety car. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers out. And I wonder who's going to be going to the pits. Most probably Wooly, SJM, and Michelizzi. Oh! We've got a lot of drivers going to the pits.
They're going to be putting on another set of mediums, I reckon. Yeah, looks like they are. They're all going to be putting on a new, fresh set of mediums.
From 6th to 12th, they're all in the pits.
Oh, Slow Salt put on the soft.
He doesn't want to stay
Technically,
slow.
it could work. When a safety car comes in, they're going to have about, I'd say, 8 or 9 laps of racing. It could work out for him. Tail Racer has got the hards on. So everyone's on the mediums apart from Slow Salt and Terror Racer. It's going to be very interesting.
Slow Salt has just pulled a 9,000 IQ move. Could be, you know, if you don't try, you won't get your result. And trying, of course, includes sacrificing and trying something new and risking. That's what Slow Salt is doing tonight. Well,
it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out, because Wooly is the first driver on this fresh set of mediums, but then he's also got a penalty, so could drop him way back down the field unless he can get some moves done.
Well, since you are bored, ladies and gents, here are some facts to you. The people of Saudi Arabia are some of the most passionate and dedicated race fans in the world. and they're sure to bring an incredible atmosphere to this event, with their flags waving and their voices ringing out in support of their favorite drivers. The stands are going to be rocking all day long, and they have been rocking all day long. Technically speaking, because there are a lot of workers, a lot of uh, employees who work in Saudi Arabia from different countries across the globe. And it would make sense so that they go to the Grand Prix and support their favorite drivers.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, it's not... Well, I won't get into that. Yeah, it's quite good to have the same... It is quite good to have the amount of, well, local people that maybe worked on making this circuit happen that get an opportunity to watch it or even volunteer further, being marshals or just like volunteers around the track is very good to see.
You know, I could have been a safety marshal during the rally that happened next to my house. I was lazy to volunteer, probably.
Uh,
I should have gone for it.
yeah, safety cars in this lap, so you don't have to hear us
Thank
waffling on about other stuff.
We're talking about our personal lives. Or about what we cooked today.
No,
Pork.
I had some pork and cheese quesadillas
Oh,
today.
oh, close, close, close. I had some pork tenderloin today.
Ooh, we both had pork today.
Yep.
So, got Chris. Let's get back to the racing. We've got Chris on leading this restart here. Will he do the same as he did before, going just about at the STC sign? He's going to leave it later, and he catches out L-Shake, but that's Danny going side by side. We saw the dive that he did down the inside of Wooly. Thinks better of it here, but opens the door for Pepine. Maybe he should have gone for that move because he's just lost out on the position to Pepine.
So Chris, instead of helping his teammate, he did him wrong here. He caught him in surprise, and Danny moves to P4 as Pepine jumps up to P3. And slow salt.
we've got Aiden getting really close to the back of Danny, and SJM getting close to fighting his teammate. Let's go on board with Lifebout as he dives down the inside of Michalizzi. He's holding the outside line, theoretically a faster line, but Lifebout makes the move stick. Just going back to what you were saying, Slow Salt really has not had a good restart here. Being on the soft tyres, you would have thought he'd be in a prime position to get some moves done, but he's moved backwards.
Someone has to show him the way.
You need to get some. He needs to get Ugandan Knuckles to show him the way.
Spot on, spot on. Good one. So Chris is still leading the race, ladies and gents. We are on the 17th lap of the race. Ilshike is 8/10 of a second behind him. And Pepine is in third place. Of course, no DRS is enabled yet. We're going to have to wait for 2 additional laps for that to happen. You know, they say that Netflix brings the family together. Well, safety cars bring the cars together, as there is a gap of less than a second between every driver and the other. Danny has just received a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's going to be very interesting to see what will happen from this point onwards, because, as I was saying, Wooly's in a great position to try and get some moves done with being on 5 lap fresher mediums, but he's not really making any inroads to getting onto the back of Aiden. So it might just be a maximum of P6 potentially for Wooly. But
Might be a skill issue.
Yeah, it could be a skill issue on the side of Wooly. But then it's also, when it gets to the end of this race, you have to think the mediums of the guys in front, they might start to fall off, as that's L-shaped with the fastest lap of the race so far. Yeah, you got to think that by the end, the mediums of the front 5 might fall off, and then Wooly would be in a good position, but only if he can keep within the second margin to keep on getting DRS.
And now Chris might be in big trouble. Half a second separating them. And the DRS has been enabled, so El Shaikh will be taking advantage of that.
Yeah, and he's got no backup of his teammate because his teammate's down in P4. If he had just gone for that move down into turn 1 on the restart, we could be looking at an Aston Martin 1-2 here. The world works in funny ways. It's all hindsight.
Oh, that's a big mistake from SJM. Lifebout looking to benefit from that, but SJM closes the door on him.
Yeah, quite aggressive defending there from SJM to say, oh, SJM playing with fire. Lifebout later on the brakes there, but just look at the speed advantage he's got on the straight. SJM down to P8, and it's a checkerboard from Wooly down to Alex Run. AlphaTauri Mercedes. So for the mid region of the points, it's really between the AlphaTauri and the Mercedes, and that's Pepine with a 3-second penalty.
Big blow.
Bringing Aiden into contention for a podium here. At least after the race on penalties, yeah, he can definitely get a podium here if he just sticks to the back of Danny.
I'm on board now with Alex Run. He has got the ERS enabled. He's going to be going to the outside line of the AlphaTauri of SJM, and he goes through.
Yeah, that's usually how that corner goes. If you've got the outside line, you usually carry more speed because you're turning less. And you can get the power earlier. There's a slight tap of the wall on the outside by SJM. Doesn't look like any damage. So, Michelizzi. Yeah, he's... Oh! Exactly the same as what happened. But that's Danny, who's got past Pepine. All the action's happening now in the last 5 laps of this race.
Well, action, where were you a couple of laps ago? It was a totally boring race with 3 safety cars. And now it's all compensating. And El Shaikh is only 0.3 of the second right behind Chris. So this race can still go anywhere, as Chris was able to gain 0.3 of a second on a single corner. Take a look at Slow Salt. 0.2 of a second behind Terra Racer, and we've got a yellow flag.
Oh, that's Lifebout. Oh, and he clips the wall as he's trying to get back onto track.
Well, misery. That's what life's all about.
So no safety car once again. I tell you what, Wooly is really keeping up with his top 5 here. He's 5.5 tenths off the back of Aiden.
But he's got a penalty, unfortunately.
Yeah, it would have been a great result, but as it stands, P6 will be his. 3-second penalty, but Alex Run is 4 seconds behind.
Five laps to go, ladies and gents. SJM was very close. He was very late on the brakes. Now 3/10 of the second separating him with Alex Run. He enables the DRS. Not enough. And yellow flag. Lifeboat retires.
That's lifeboat in the pits. Yep. I wish people wouldn't do that because the race isn't going to be over, and plus you're only 12th. It's not like you're in 20th and 50 seconds behind the next car. You're only in 12th.
Exactly. You overtake 2 drivers, you're in the points. And even a single point can be very crucial for the championship. Take
exactly.
The 2008 championship, for example. Lewis Hamilton won by 1 point against Felipe Massa.
Is that Glock?
Is that Glock? So Il Sheikh, 6/10 of the second behind Chris. Half a second now.
He is a bit closer than he was last lap, so potentially may get right on the back as we get into turn 1. We'll have to wait and see. He's under 4 temps, under 3. Not quite close enough. It just seems like he's got to be right on the back of Chris to get an overtake done. But he really doesn't need to get an overtake done. He doesn't need to win this race to win the championship, but we know what racing drivers are like. They'll want to win every race they're a part of.
Oh, that's a mistake from Ilshak. He missed the apex and lost few tenths. It's not something you want to do at the dying laps with 3 laps to go. But at least he is still clean. He has no penalties. Same thing for Chris. But I wonder who's going to win this race. Till now, Chris has the upper hand.
But look at Wooly. He's getting very... And these fresher tyres are really paying off for him. He's getting close, not close enough. Takes a wider line, able to carry more speed. He is getting closer to Aiden. He's not using ERS. He's just staying in the slipstream. And yeah, Wooly's getting... Oh! Nearly outbrakes himself and puts him into the back of Aiden. Would not want that here.
You don't want him to get too greedy. And Mikulitsy's all over the place behind SJM. 1/10 of the second. 1/10 of the second. Oh. SJM defends well. Closes the door on him. 2 more laps and we're through.
Yeah, so the front 2 are still fighting it out, but Chris just has the overwhelming pace. And he's got an ERS advantage compared to Elshake, so you'd have to think Chris is all but good to win this race unless Elshake can get close enough on this back straight towards the final corner. Does look like he's getting closer. This is the closest he's been in a few laps. Takes a wider line, carries more speed, and that's a mistake from Chris. His rear end just steps out a little bit, but it doesn't look like to be affecting him too much. Elshake will not get close enough to get a move done, but he is close enough to pile on the pressure to Chris.
On board now with SJM. Has got the DRS enabled. He's getting very close to SJM, to Mikulitsy. 1/10 of the second. Oh, not enough. Not enough. And we have just entered the final lap of the race, ladies and gents. It's one or the other. It's gonna be either Chris or Ilshike. The luck is in Chris's hand at the moment.
And Pepine as well is getting really close to the back of Danny. He's getting close within 3/10. And Wooly as well. He's getting swarmed by Wooly on the 5/10 behind him. So even if Wooly does get ahead of him, Aiden will jump him. And at the moment, he is going to be getting that last step of the podium. But going back up to Elshake, he's just not close enough. He's outside of the 1 second window now to Chris. So it will be Chris who wins this race, barring an absolutely horrendous run to the line. It will be Chris who wins the race, but it will be Elshake who wins the driver's title here
and Wooly,
in PSGL F6.
Wooly has overtaken. Wait a minute.
Yeah, Wooly overtook Aiden, but because Aiden didn't have a penalty, he moved himself up into P3.
Okay. Sorry, took me a minute to process that. So Wooly was able to overtake Aiden right before the finish line. That was entertaining to watch, but unfortunately doesn't have a functional outcome.
Just looking at the gaps to the leader, yeah, he was about 3.1 behind. With the penalty added on. Well, actually, no, it was 2.9 behind. Because of the penalty. So if he didn't get a penalty, he would have been third.
And Mikulitsi was voted as the driver of the day for tonight. So, ladies and gents, champagne showers.
We can see who spent the money.
No champagne. Maybe only rose water.
There we go. It looks like a champagne bottle to me.
Yeah, Martini have started to make non-alcoholic sparkling wines. I'm not a fan of these, but yeah.
No, no, definitely wouldn't be.
So, ladies and gents, here are your final unofficial results for this race. JR Chris won the race. Ilshike in second place. Aidan in third. Danny, it's the first time that I see him, this Hungarian guy, in fourth place. Pepine in fifth place. Outside of the top five, we got Wooly in sixth, followed by Alex Run and Mikulitsi in eighth. Could you please continue?
Yeah, so we have Terror Racer in ninth, SJM in 10th with the last point. Then we have Slow Soul in 11th. Lifebout is first of a few DNFs. We have Lifebout, Evil, Tybe, Chris, Pyro, and Mendez, all DNFing from this race.
Ladies and gents, unfortunately we have reached the end of today's race. We hope to see you next week, same time, same place. This is Salim Haddad and Mr. Quinn kissing you good night.